Abraham Maslow created a theory of a hierarchy of needs. In this hierarchy, he said that basic needs like food, shelter, and water needed to be met before more sophisticated needs like creativity and prejudice could be established. For us, most of us are at the top of this pyramid. We stress about things in our lives, and we worry about what other people are doing in their lives, and sometimes we're jealous of what other people have. But if we compare ourselves to those living on the other side of the world in Africa, we'll realize that we have so much to be grateful for. We take for granted the basic things that we have every day, like food and water and shelter and resources. Poverty is more severe in Africa than on any other continent. 617 million people in sub-Saharan Africa survive on an average of 75 US cents per day. The first need that we take for granted is water. Water is such a huge problem and need in many places in Africa. 43% of children in sub-Saharan Africa do not have safe, accessible drinking water. Many times it's the children's job to go get the water, and they have to walk very many miles to go get safe drinking water. And the only way they have to carry it is with big jugs. So they carry a big jug on their head. Imagine you're a little kid, you're carrying a big jug of water on your head, and you're walking for miles and miles and miles. And lots of times that water is infested with crocodiles. And crocodile attacks are a common thing. And it's also especially dangerous for women because many times there will be predators on the journey to get the water, and many times the women are raped. My parents had the opportunity to serve a 2.5-year mission in Africa, and they were really excited because they were able to provide some clean, safe drinking water for the people in Africa. They were able to provide wells in Mozambique. Here's an account of the people's reaction to the gift of clean, safe water. One 89-year-old woman literally danced for joy. She said, "You can't imagine how happy I am. I used to walk many kilometers for water, and now I am old. I am lucky because other people my age didn't get to live to see this. I think I am in heaven." There's another man who was speaking Portuguese, and my parents asked the interpreter, "What's that man saying?" And the interpreter said, "He's from another village, and he's pretty upset that he didn't get a well himself." So that's how much they need and want water. This is a picture of a meal that the village provided my parents once they were celebrating the gift of clean water. And if you look, you can see there's like bones right here and teeth. That meal that they served my parents is stewed cow's head. In Africa, it's a delicacy and an honor to be served the head of a cow. Here in the United States, we have so much meat and so much food that we discard anything that is different or gross, but in Africa, they have so little that every part is precious. The next need that Africans struggle with is shelter. In Nairobi, most homes consist of a single room with mud walls, a mud floor, no windows, toilet, running water, electricity, and a leaking roof. Here we can always be grateful for our homes and the roofs over our heads, even if they're not as luxurious as we want them to be. The next need that Africans struggle with is employment. There's not a lot of job opportunities, and there's also not a lot of education, so it's hard to get the good jobs. Most people end up doing one of three things. They either beg, they steal, or they sell. Whenever there is an intersection or traffic, people will flock to that, the denseness of tourists, because they're trying to sell things. They'll sell anything. They'll sell fruit. They'll sell garbage, like grocery bags. They'll sell charcoal that they've made themselves out of burning trees. They'll sell plungers. If you look at this picture right here, these boys are selling mice on a stick for people to eat. Or they'll go up and they'll just beg for money. Lots of Africans they become creative in their desperate needs for money, and they'll carve sculptures, or they'll do beading, or they'll paint paintings, all to be able to sell to the tourists for a way to make money. The next thing that we take for granted are our many resources. It's really amazing to me. Us, we are always wanting more. We're wanting more, the new phone, the new car, whatever it is. But these are kids in Africa who don't have anything. All they have is their imagination and trash. And they take whatever they can scavenger, and they make toys. They play pebbles they play marbles with pebbles, and this is a picture of a soccer ball that is made out of grocery bags sewn together. Because children have a universal need for play and creativity, and they don't let their poverty stop that. The last resource that we take for granted is laundry. When my parents were on their mission, they went to a friend's house, and when they were on their way to the friend's house, they noticed this woman kneeling on the ground outside washing her laundry by hand. They stayed at their friend's house for a couple of hours. By the time they came out, it was getting dark, and they noticed that the woman was still there, diligently washing her laundry. They had to speak to her. They said, "If you could have one wish, what would your wish be?" And she said, "I wish that I had an education so that I could be a teacher and teach my children." And so hopefully we can remember this woman when we are wanting more and better things, because if we compare our lives to those in Africa, we'll realize that we have so much to be grateful for. Are there any questions?
Where did your parents serve their mission in Africa?
It was in South Africa, but they did a lot of traveling. They went to Johannesburg and Cape Town and Mozambique, so they really actually did a lot of traveling in South Africa.
Cool.
Any other questions?
Yeah. Why didn't tribes in Africa make their own wells?
They do try to make their own wells, but they don't really have the equipment to. They'll dig with their hands sometimes, but when the wells get so deep, they become unsafe, and many times they collapse. So really, it's not very safe. All right, thank you for listening to my speech.